Bueno, mi gente, Marcucci here again, bringing another video. And today we have State Senator Greg Albritton from South Alabama, from the districts of South Alabama. His law or his bill is one of the most interesting ones, so I'm dying to get into it. It's a commission to study blockchain technology, and it's one of two that have been enacted in the past 2 years. So I'm really, really excited to be talking about it. So good morning, Greg. How are you?
Oh, good morning. I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for doing this interview. I appreciate it so much. So tell me a little about yourself, how you discovered blockchain technology, and yeah, how's the state of Alabama? I haven't visited, but one of my good friends studied at Auburn, and he's always dying for me to go. So I'm gonna send him this interview once we finish.
Well, if he's attending Auburn, you may have to send him a transcript. So, well, no, he can't read either. Never mind. That's just the Auburn, Alabama thing. Uh, we,
Sorry, go ahead.
okay, our connections evidently are not doing very well. Um, the state has an interest in figuring out and actually to getting an education for ourselves of what Bitcoin and what cryptocurrency really consist of, and how and what our role is going to be in this. At the time we did this, we did not know about the change going to be happening on the federal level, um, but we felt that it was imperative that the state start looking at a means to where we discover what our role is, and also that we start having an education with people about what it is and how it's going to affect or not affect. So that's why we initiated this study group, if you will, for education, not only for the public but for ourselves. I mean, I'm still carrying pocket change, um, and to begin to figure out where we as Alabama need to be involved with this new technology, if you will.
So how do you see the state of Alabama, adopting blockchain technology? Because some of the bill is really interesting. It talks about mining. It also talks about implementing blockchain into the government, so making it more transparent.
Yep.
So what have you been able to find? Because I think it was done last year. I mean, like in August, right?
Correct, and we're still is still in existence, and we'll be having some more meetings as we go. But the aspect that we feel like in Alabama, we feel is that this technology has got to be implemented. We are now we're I know it's 2025, one quarter through the 21st century, but we're still functioning in mid 20th century methodologies. And we've got to bring ourselves up to date in that regard. We've got to be prepared for it. And we've got to have the training for it, and we've got to have the resources for it. Alabama is a population of just over 5 million people, half the size of Georgia, and we have to improve ourselves and how we develop those services. We just think it's the way of the future, and we have to get in, figure out how we're going to be using it and how to bring it here to us. To get the mining here, to get the mines, MINDS, brought here, and people that are engaged in this, so that we can function with it properly and use it to our advantage.
Perfect. So it seems that you're taking a proactive approach into it. How has regulation been? How has promoting been? And are you being cautious? Are you guys waiting for the federal level to take action, or you guys are being a little bit more proactive and bringing those MINDS into Alabama?
Well, good points. And there has been, right now, we're trying to, that's under discussion as to do we wait for what the feds are going to do and then take action from there, or do we try to blaze the trail ourselves? Um, we haven't come to a conclusion in that regard, but we're going to continue uh, making the discoveries that we have to to move forward with it. Uh, the first thing that comes into play is how do we draw the production, the mining facilities here, and that's a power generation matter. The other is how do we draw the education levels here, and how do we train people here for this? And we're investigating how we can move forward with that. Then the third arm would be what type of regulations, if any, would be our role. That's the main thing that we may want to wait to see what the feds do in that regard, uh, to follow a pattern. Um, but we've got enough on our plate with the first two to try to move this forward in our state.
Perfect. And you mentioned that the bill was introduced to you, or it was brought to your attention from someone else. How did you discover blockchain technology? Like when was the first time you heard about it?
I don't know, some fairy tale, I guess. I think it started coming apparent uh, when we started using our digital methodology, i.e., credit cards and debit cards, and payments online, and with Amazon. All of that development has led to an acknowledgement that cash is an old methodology. Um, and now, don't get me wrong, I still carry a little cash. It's a safety net, all right. But that is kind of the recognition. I was discussing with our former securities head recently, and he made the statement that we've been using cryptocurrencies for a long time. We just haven't recognized it as such. Blockchain is different, of course. Blockchain is a whole different aspect where we come in, and that's simply cryptology, if you will, for records and maintaining a good records securely. Um, and we're looking at trying to employ that in our those are critical uses in government agencies. So we're trying to find a way to handle that too. But again, that's a power generation matter too.
Mhm. So you talk about power generation, you talk about the different miners. I personally don't know about the economy over there in Alabama and what businesses are there, but from what I see, you guys are growing a little bit. So can you tell me more about that and how this technology can help your fellow people in Southern Alabama gravitate towards this technology?
Um, the first way, I think, is we've got to get more access to broadband. Um, all of this technology is dependent upon communication, and communication now is dependent upon the internet and the access to internet and broadband, and we are sorely lacking that way. Uh, we're looking and we're trying. We put millions and millions of dollars into what was called the middle mile and different ways of such as that. We've got arguments going in about using the Musk satellite processes and things. But regardless of the which one you use, broadband or satellite, is still a matter of being connected. And we don't have the infrastructure for that here in large areas of the state. It is still being exercised in pockets, and we've got to overcome that. Um, I, am kind of disappointed in how much we've spent, and how short of a distance we've traveled from that. Um, unless we can have good internet connections and good communications, you're not going to be able to use cryptocurrency.
Yeah, that's a great valid point, and I feel that same thing in Puerto Rico. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, and
Uh,
like my grandparents, they live in the mountains, and the internet there, is not the best. And I want to obviously bring crypto into Puerto Rico.
mhm.
You have to do it with internet. Like everything is interconnected and everything, gravitates towards internet. I mean, Bitcoin is a little bit different. It can connect different ways, but yeah, overall blockchain technology needs better infrastructure and everything. So I'm glad that you guys are looking into the Starlink, the Elon Musk thing. But yeah, overall great infrastructure is definitely needed. So I'm happy to hear that. So
So
how,
all of that, all those are interconnected, and that all of that is majorly cost, and finding the resources to put into that while maintaining the roads and maintaining the schools. That comes into be the difficulty.
yeah. So how are these investments going to help out the taxpayers in general, right? Because a lot of people are like, well, we have to spend more money, and oh my God, they're building all these different infrastructures. Like, yeah, you spend money to make money, right? So is this ultimately going to help the taxpayers put money into their pockets?
Oh, the same way automobiles, internal combustion engine put money into people's pockets. Okay, um, horses were slow, engines were reliable, and they got that infrastructure going. It's the same thing. Flying and movements and that technology, we are making great strides again. Technology, a huge jump, and we're just trying to catch the tail end of that in Alabama. We're trying to make sure that we are a part of that. And how does that help? It expands our standard of living. It expands the job opportunities. It expands those things that we can do. Um, uh, I heard somebody tell me once that computers were designed to save everybody a lot of time, and phones were also to be time, and yet we're more busier than we have ever been. That's because we are truly working longer hours and doing more with less resources, if that makes sense. And that's what the technology does. I think this whole idea and concept is a broadening and an advancement of the human race, kind of sort of thing.
Perfect, perfect. And the bill also talks about like underrepresented people and unbanked individuals in Alabama. So, tell me a little bit more, what studies have been done to kind of help those people, right? That like you keep some cash. I know my grandparents kept everything in cash. They barely use banks. So how will these people be represented, right, in this digital economy in Alabama?
We hope to bring everybody along. This is true, but don't misunderstand. Uh, and I don't. We've got a lot of catching up to do. We still have development of sewer systems that we've got to get advanced here in Alabama and in particular locations. Um, so we've got a long way to go, and we've got a lot of money to put into this. Uh, that's going to require the investment. But cryptocurrency is one of the best things that can help those in rural Alabama, because if we can get the services and the communications there, they can do any work, they can do any transaction without making travel. So therefore, they won't have to go to the nearest county seat or to the nearest Walmart. They can take care of things that as they sit on the computer, or they can make the phone call connection with their phone. They can do those things without expending those resources. So it will take less resources once we get these put into play, and it will require less time, and we will achieve greater improvements in their lives. That's what I see.
Well, Greg, the people in Alabama are sure lucky to have you. I appreciate what you're doing.
I'm going to use that next year in the election. Okay.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, Greg, let's go back into like politics in Alabama and kind of the government, right? The bill mentions like some of the state agencies. What are the state agencies that are best equipped to like oversee blockchain and crypto regulation in Alabama? And how is this like, how long did the bill take to pass, right? Like, I've done interviews with people from Massachusetts, Wyoming, uh, Illinois. And all of them, their governments work a little bit differently. Some are faster than others. So how do you guys work in Alabama?
We think we work very efficiently. As far as this SJR, it was not a law, it is a resolution. And we were able to take that and had to still pass both houses. And it didn't take long because we recognized the need and we recognized our lack in this way. So there was quite an effort to move forward with this rapidly. And we did. We passed it fairly quickly. And then we stood it up after we got out of session and started working on it. Um, but this is not an agency head or an agency to oversee things. This is simply a means of trying to identify what we will do as far as that goes. Right now, we have no intent of creating another bureaucracy or another agency. Right now, we believe that we have the infrastructure, regulatory infrastructure, uh, enough to handle this, whether it be with the Securities Commission or even the Department of Insurance or a combination of those or in unison to provide us the regulatory authority to begin overseeing and developing this asset and this industry.
Perfect, perfect. So the commission is required to have like a final report in 2026. I know we're far away,
Yep.
right? But what kind of policies, recommendations do you hope from this study, right? And what is the data specifically? I don't think I saw one.
I don't remember the date. Usually is the beginning of the session of 2026. Normally is when we set those up. So it would probably be January of 26. Um, and we believe the direction we're going with this is at that time we should have a feel for what the feds are doing regulatory wise. And at that point, we believe that this commission will bring forward suggestions for the legislature to act on, which would provide us guidance on what type of regulations to initiate, which agency should take the lead in that regard, and if we should start putting additional resources, funding in drawing these businesses or the startups here to Alabama. Those are the three major concepts I think this commission is probably headed toward. Now there may be some more. We've got some pretty outside the box thinkers on this, and there's been some wild suggestions, at least to this old guy. But I think there's going to be some creativity that comes from this that will give us, I think, some sound directions initial to start movement in this direction.
Perfect, perfect. So, eh, what can the people that are into crypto in Alabama and the blockchain community that Alabama has, how can they engage with the commission and kind of contribute like an insight and help you guys out too? Like, I know you guys want to help out the most, but like everyone in the crypto community in Alabama pitch in, like, how can they do that?
They already are. I have on their initiative. I have been since we've set this up. I've been contacted by several groups: South Alabama, North Alabama, Central Alabama, to have discussions about this because this spurred a great deal of interest within the state and even outside of the state. So those folks have seen this and they are beginning to and have started moving into make sure that they're heard. They attend the meetings. They give us insights. I've received packets from people along this line, and I'm not the only one. Several members have, and many of the members of our commission are associated with some of these groups too. So we have, I think, a good influx of information coming in. That's sometimes a bit overwhelming for this old guy, but I think we have. I'm excited about the direction we're headed in. I think we're a little bit ahead of this game, and that's unusual for us. But I think we're going to take it and run with it.
Yeah, I mean, you got me really hyped up for your election next year. I think you're gonna win by a landslide with if you keep this up, at least with the blockchain and crypto community. Wow, I'm really looking forward what Alabama is gonna be where Alabama's going to be in the next couple of years. If you guys can become one of the leading states in blockchain technology, I think you guys can definitely evolve like right away. I mean, like I don't want to keep mentioning Puerto Rico again, but some of the cities that have adopted like different businesses like Pfizer and all these different stuff, companies from the US to Puerto Rico, they have grown like exponentially. Like the roads have been fixed, like the infrastructure has been better. So if Alabama is able to attract some of the best talents in crypto, it could definitely do that. So I'm happy to see the growth that's going to be happening in Alabama.
Me too. Me too. I'm excited about what we're doing and how we're doing it. Timing and everything is critical, but uh, I'm excited again about moving forward with this. I think it's been a long time since I've been to Puerto Rico, but it's an interesting place and it is we're all tied together in this. Um, there's more of us that need to move forward on this than there are folks that's ahead of it, and we need to get ahead of this game some, and we're doing our best to make that happen.
Perfect. So, Greg, I'm not going to take any more of your time. Thank you so much for doing this. Next time you're in Puerto Rico, let me know so I can tell you what are the best spots. Um,
Will do.
anyways,
Thank you, Marco. I appreciate the time.
any last words for the people in Alabama, people in your district, and how they can get involved with you, how to contact you if that's possible? I want to say for everyone that's watching, Greg responded like in 2 minutes. Like, I don't know if you're stuck in your email like all day, but you responded really quick, and I really do appreciate you. I really do.
Well, I was sitting on my phone watching for you to contact me, Marco.
Thank you so much. Well, anyways, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everyone watching. Go make sure to follow Alabama's journey, and I will hopefully see you on the next one. Bye bye.
Wonderful. Thank you.